Happy Saturday, everyone. Today we are going to jump straight into the DIYs and we're going to be working on some neutral fall decor. And we are going to start off with this piano roll. I love finding these, you guys, and you could use them for so many other things. I even use mine to chart my kids' growth. But today we're gonna make it into some fall decor. So I'm gonna roll this out enough where I could still see the original stamp, and I'm gonna use the Charlotte stamp. And we are going to layer. So this is a great opportunity if you're not used to layering to learn how to do so. So we're going to grab Charlotte and we are going to put her, this is just a cutting mat. You could also buy a stamp mount as well. This is just like a cutting mat from Dollar Tree I cut up. I'm going to use black permanent ink. However, you could use colors as well. And I'm going to flip her on around on the bottom right side. We're going to kind of build an image around her. And I'm going to press that down. And you guys, oh just wait for it. When I lift this up, how much detail. Look at that. Isn't that stamp gorgeous? All right, so now we're gonna lay a mask. You should have masks with all of your stamps. You're gonna lay that on top of her. And now we're gonna take this pumpkin stamp. Unfortunately, this is an old one, you guys, so it's not available. And I'm going to lay that over her neck. And you can see how with using that mask, it doesn't cut into her image. It looks like it's behind her, and that's what we wanna go for. Now I'm going to put the mask on top of that other pumpkin because I'm going to layer a second one over here to the side. There we go. So now that it looks like it's like staggered. I'm going to grab the leaves from this same stamp and I'm going to have this cascading over her. So that's why I did not use the mask in this case. I want it to look like it's going like over and like on her neck. And then I am going to grab from, oh no, wait. Now I'm going to ink it up because there was like a little spot missing. I'm going to wipe back the leaf that I do not want ink on. I don't need this like big leaf over here. I just want this skinny little strand of leaves because you'll see the little bare spots here right in the middle. You can't miss it right there. And so I'm just going to stamp that. Now I'm going to take the garden bouquet stamp. You guys, I do have all of these in stock from the summer release on my website, links in the description box. I don't know why, but I'm obsessed with the daisies in here. I used it on that last mirror I did with this stamp. I'm going to grab the stamp, and what's nice about the masks now is they printed the images on the mask, so you can really get an idea of what it's going to look like. I'm going to get that stamp. I'm going to ink it up, but of course, I'm going to use my mask. I end up needing to get the mask for her as well. And we are going to put that right in between her and the pumpkin. And you can see how using the mask builds. It looks like everything is behind her except the leaves. I'm going to grab the butterfly. This is also from the Charlotte stamp. And then I'm going to finish it off with some leaves over here on the bottom part. I didn't think it looked right bare. And because the leaves were so subtle, you were still able to see the original marking. I'm going to grab a thin popsicle stick and put that on the bottom so that it doesn't roll back up when hanging. And to hang it, I'm just getting some thin floral wire, wrapping it around the end of the tube, and then I'm going to bring it over and wrap it around the other end. And these you can roll back up to the way that you place the popsicle stick. You can definitely roll these back up. And like I said, these will be available on my next Whatnot show. So look at how good this image. And even if you didn't have a piano roll, you can be doing this on a piece of canvas, a piece of wood. It does not matter. I just wanted to show you the layering of it. And I am so feeling still the fall like neutral decor. And this fit right in with that. The just like the brown. I absolutely Love this, you guys. And who knows, stay tuned for the IOD like Christmas release. I don't know what it is, so sorry to excite you. For this one, I don't know the size of the wood, you guys. It was a random scrap piece. And I'm going to take the Hello Pumpkin mold, which I used resin. This is the biggest pumpkin. And I used my Titebond wood glue, adhered that to the piece of wood. And then I'm going to take a sawtooth hanger, put that in the back. With this piece of wood, it's not thick enough to be a shelf sitter, so I needed to make it a sign that you can hang up, or somebody could kind of prop it up if they wanted to. Now I'm going to take vintage linen. This is my favorite white out of all the DIY colors. I think it's just the happy medium between like the pure white and then like the like grayish white. I don't know. I'm going to do a messy coat on this. Front and back I painted. Then I'm going to take a little bit of that vintage linen and I'm going to mix it with some salt wash. And I am going to put that salt wash kind of like on the corners of this sign, and then I will put it sporadically like throughout the sign, almost just so it kind of looks like an aged or weathered, piece. That's what I was going for. I'm going to take my texture stamp. You guys, this should be restocked on Monday. And then I was going to wax this and everything, but I'll show you what I did later. I'm going to take the apothecary stamp. I do have this back in stock, you guys. And I spelt out harvest and then used that pretty little detail that also comes in this stamp set. And I stamped it with, I think, stone gray I used. Look it, isn't that so cute? Well, my friends, I decided not to film this, but some of you may think I did too much. But this was my vision this entire time, was to have this like neutral sign and then add this like little pop of like tan to it. Because I feel like every time that I see these like high-end fall decor, Halloween decor and stuff like that, they're like white, tans, creams, that kind of color palette. So that's what I was going for. And I thought this just gave it a little bit more texture and warmth, so it doesn't seem so like stone cold. Stone cold 2000. Okay, so I hope you guys are vibing it like I'm vibing it. All right. Hey, you guys, I had to laugh. Do any of you, well, I'm sure some of you have watched Edward Scissorhands, and I'm over here and I'm hearing the scissors and I'm like, when he's like cutting the hair and then he starts going, you know what I'm saying? Okay. All right. Just me. After those shenanigans, this is how our sign turned out. Now, y'all, the Hello mold is no longer in stock. The holiday stuff gets retired, but I do sell the resin castings of the pumpkins. So those are on my website, linked in the description box. But I love this neutral piece. I think it's absolutely neutral. DIYs are going to be ghosts. Now, if you guys are my OGs, do you guys remember these split balls? Do you remember these big old balls? Okay. So I was trying to dupe a DIY, you guys, like in the start of my YouTube career, and the lady used split wood beads. Well, I ordered these and I guess I did not look at the size. They were ginormous. Needless to say, the DIY came out very unproportioned, but I've held on to them and I didn't have any styrofoam balls. So this is what I used instead. So I got these wood discs from the thrift store. I'm using those spindles once again, which I will note that I'll tell you later after. I'll give you some hints on things I would change. But we are going to use this clamp. You guys, I saw somebody, it was on the Road Trip Thrift Flip, and I apologize, but I cannot remember her channel for the life of me. I even went back and looked, but she drilled holes in the top of vintage clothespins, and this is how she did it. She like clamped it in there and then got her drill. So things are about to get sketchy. You might want to look away because I went for it. I got the drill. I clamped these wood balls that I hot glued together, and needless, you could see You can see Hot Mess Express, but I made it work. You see, it kind of went better that time. I got the hang of it. Okay, so sometimes you just got to use what you have in your stash, and I didn't have styrofoam balls, so this was the next best thing. So it fit in there. I did have to kind of rig it here. I just hot glued this spindle into my drill hole, and then I hot glued them together. This is like a Franken ghost. Yeah, awesome. And then I hot glued around just to ensure that those two pieces would not separate from each other. All right, then I did my other ones, and you'll see that the other ones went way more smoothly. Okay, that one was not a hot mess. I did not have to glue it back together, and the spindle fits in perfectly. I'm going to take those bases that I got from the thrift store. I'm going to also drill a hole in those in order for the spindle to fit. And I left one of them with like just like the raw woods, and then one of them I painted black. However, I am going to say I painted the top of it white just because it shows through the fabric. But I will say I would not, because I am going to make more. I'm not going to use the spindles again because you don't even see them. So I kind of wasted the spindles. Um, I'm just going to use a dowel rod next time. And then for the bases, you guys just go to the wood pile section at Hobby Lobby and get the round discs. I actually went this weekend to get styrofoam balls and the wood disc because I want to make more for my whatnot show. So that's what I would use next time. I was just kind of using what I had, and I don't know where I thought that you were going to actually see the spindle, but you don't. So don't waste your spindles, okay, unless your ghost is going to have a short dress. Now I'm taking this fabric. It's like a polyester fabric that I get from Walmart. It's really inexpensive. And I'm taking this tablecloth. I'm going to drape it over to get the size and the length that I want. And then I'm just going to do a messy cut around this. So this is going to be all preference. You do not have to have a tablecloth. It can be a colorful ghost, whatever. But you'll see, I just start like chomping at the bit here and just start cutting. But as I'm making this, you guys, I'm like, oh my gosh, this looks like a beautiful wedding dress. And you guys heard me earlier. I'm extra. If you're new to my show, hello, my name is Sammy, and I am super, super extra sometimes. And this is one of those times. So I start cutting this, and I'm like, I'm not cutting it anymore. I'm leaving this long like a wedding dress, and this is going to be the Princess Bride ghost. So I lay it out. I cut out the stains that are on the tablecloth. There was another one right over here. And then I am going to take I'm going to like, goodness, I'm going, sorry, I'm going to pull back that, we'll call it her veil. And I'm going to just take a permanent marker and we're going to draw in those ghost eyes. You don't even have to. I've seen some inspiration photos where they don't even put the eyes, but I feel like the eyes are kind of necessary. What do you guys think? Eyes or no eyes when it comes to the ghost? So I'm going to put that back over. I'm going to grab another strip of fabric and I am going to tie that at the base of the little head. I'm going to double knot that. Then taking this little piece of chiffon, I'm going to put that around the neck and tie it in a bow, just very delicate. And because I have to keep going, my friends, I decide to, or wait, no, hold on, special announcement. Hey everybody, I am stopping in real quick. I wanted to do a gift away. It has been quite some time. You have to be 18 and over to enter. You have to be a US resident, and you need to make sure that you're subscribed and you leave your girl a comment. I will pick a gift away winner. What's today? Saturday. So let's say Tuesday, and I will announce it in my community tab. So make sure you are following there. I'm going to gift away a little ghost kit. So I am going to send you the ribbons, the cheesecloth with some of the fabric, and then I will send you the form. You need to glue it together yourself, but like everything is going to be here for you to create your own little bride ghost. Okay, so again, 18 and over, US resident. Make sure you are subscribed and you comment down below. I will also ask you to send me your identification card to make sure it is you that is claiming the prize. And let's go ahead and carry on. Back to my my extraness. I decided that I needed rhinestones on the front of this. You guys, I got all into this Princess Bride Ghost, okay? And sorry, it's not a good shot. It was like a last minute decision. So I got these like amber like rhinestones and then the crystal clear rhinestones. And I just put it in the front of her gown. And she's Gorga. I love her so much. Now, the second ghost we did, I took an old handkerchief and then I took the cheesecloth. I got the cheesecloth at Walmart and then I stained it in coffee. And all I did was I made a pot of coffee, put it in a bowl with the cheesecloth, took it out, rinsed it out after about an hour, and it was a beautiful color. So I am putting that over my ghost form, tying it off with a piece of scrap, and then I'm going to make a fabric bow. And this one's more kind of like traditional, like I have the orange and the black in there. And I'm going to just glue that to the base of the head. And I did draw eyes on there, and these turned out so cute. I was trying to save these until this upcoming week's What Not Sell, but they were in the background on my show this past week, or this week, and they both sold. Debbie bought one of them, so thank you, Debbie bought the Princess Bride, and more bought the other one. But I am totally making more. One, these were so fun to make. I was able to use all of these like vintage linens that I had, and you can really get creative with them, you guys. So again, I would use dowels next time, styrofoam balls, and then you could get the wood bases at Hobby Lobby if you can't find items at the thrift store. Oh, so starting with our theme, I grabbed these neutral yarn spools. This middle one's actually kind of like a peachy color. I was totally digging it. And I have, you guys, this intense fear of commitment when it comes to these items. So I don't want to make anything permanent, and I don't want to glue anything directly to the spool itself. So I am going to stuff some packing paper into these spools. Then I'm going to grab these spindles that we took from a chair, and I'm going to use my little table saw, and I'm going to cut those in half. So one of these spindles made two little peduncles. All right, so now, like I said, instead of gluing on the spool itself, I am attaching the spindles to the packing paper. So they're in there good. If you like put it upside down, it's not going anywhere. And everything that I attach is going to be glued either to the spindle or the packing paper. After the spindles are in, I'm going to take Spanish moss. I really wanted like to keep in with like the neutral theme. You could use whatever you want to cover this part. And all I'm doing with the Spanish moss is I'm tucking it into that lip of the spool. So I'm making sure majority of it's tucked inside so that it does not move and it does not fall out. As I go into our accessories, you guys know we have to accessorize these pumpkins. I couldn't just leave them like that. That's boring. So we're going to do 3 different ones. So for this peachy colored one, I'm going to grab these beautiful neutral leaves, and I am going to put some hot glue on them, and then they are hot glued to the spindle. I'm going to take the beaded garland that you get from Dollar Tree. I think the white one usually comes out for Valentine's Day. And I just twirled that up and then hot glued it again to the spindle. For our second one, our little baby one, I'm going to take these paper sunflowers. These are also from Dollar Tree, and they come out during the fall. And they have like these thin little wires on them. So I am just kind of playing around, stuffing them inside. And then I decide that I'm going to cluster them over to the left. And I do put some of that orange and red beaded garland in this one as well, which I don't show. And our third one, I decided to go extra, like guacamole girl. Okay, so we are putting, I think these are like foxtails from Hobby Lobby. I kind of was envisioning almost like a boho kind of look with this one. It turned out so cute and so extra, like me. Um, so I'm putting these in. Then I'm going to put in these other little sprigs. These are from Dollar Tree picks. They actually come with like some fall florals on them. And after sticking those in there, I'm going to grab one of these mini pumpkins. You can see it over to the left, comes on that pick. And I'm going to glue that right to the front. This is like screams fall. It's crazy. And look at how cute these turned out. Leave me a comment if you are going to be on the hunt for these now, or if you have some in your stash and now you're going to pull them out and put them together. These are so cute. They're going to sell so well on my Whatnot show, and even just to display in my booth would be great. So I hope this inspires you to get those out and start getting creative.
I'm busy right now. Don't put your ears back like you don't know what's going on. What do you need? Do you need the boy to feed you? I need to wipe your eyes. You're so stinky and you just got a bath. What do you get into? I don't need cuddles. Like if I give you cuddles, then oh, okay. All right, bye.
Next neutral one is inspired by Western Grace Home Decor, and she made these beautiful like tile pumpkins, and I was all about it. So I'm taking random pieces of wood. I did measure that one for you. The Dollar Tree tiles. I have a huge stash of these, and now I see them at Dollar Tree all the time. I'm gonna lay my piece of wood over the tile, kind of like smack dab in the middle, so I get a little bit of all the tile image in there. I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. Now keep in mind that when cutting these, the sticky part is no longer going to be on there. It just falls right off. So I'm going to take that now and take some hot glue, and make sure you're putting the hot glue on all of the raised parts. Don't put it down in the sunken parts. You're just going to waste your hot glue. And then I'm going to lay that on. Caution, it is hot, so be careful. And I'm going to smooth that out. I found these little pegs in this like humongous box I picked up from Facebook Marketplace, and I'm like, these would be beautiful peduncles, so we're using them. I'm going to take my drill and we are going to drill some holes. You guys, I know you're cringing. Some of you are like, oh my gosh, you're so sketchy when you're using that drill. And this fit in there perfectly. Now, while I have that out, I'm going to grab my 2x4 stack. So in her photos, she used 2x4s. I wanted to do it a couple like different ways. So I'm going to do it the way um, she did it. And then we're going to use that big piece of wood as well. So with the 2x4s, we are going to just cut the strips out. Again, I just did it exactly like I did with the big one. Just put them on top, trace them out, cut them out. Okay. And then we are going to hot glue them on. I don't know if these would work with like regular glue, you know what I'm saying? Like if you guys use glue sticks or something, I'm not sure. I would use hot glue. Now I'm going to use Titebond Quick and Thick and a little bit of hot glue. The hot glue just gives me that immediate hold so I could kind of just keep working through. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. I'm going to clamp that, set that aside, and then we're going to move on to painting. So I'm going to take vintage linen here. Vintage linen is my favorite white from the DIY collection. It's not like pure white, and it doesn't really have any kind of like gray or blue undertones. It is just like the most perfect white. I'm going to do a messy coat over the entire surface, and I also do the back because this is a shelf sitter. And then I'm going to take vintage linen and mix it with a little bit of salt wash. Not a lot like I usually do where it's like super chunky, just a little bit. And I'm going to stipple that on. I wanted the tile to look like it had layers of paint on it, you know, like if it would have come out of an old building. That was the look I was going for here. So I'm going to stipple that on. I even go over on top and the sides. And then I'm going to take liquid patina in Pennies from Heaven. Now, you guys, this is where you just have to have fun and experiment. This definitely did not come out looking like their pumpkins, but I was just having fun with it. So I'm just putting this in random spots. And then I'm going to I took this stamp pad, it was brown, but it was like square and it was leaving lines. It just did not work. When you do it with the IOD stamp pads, like the bigger ones, this works so much better on on the tiles, but this was not happening. So next thing we're going to experiment with, I took liquid patina, dark and decrepit. I put it on there and then I wet it, and I see how I'm wetting it, and then I'm spreading it. Wet it, spread it. Geez, that does, okay. And moving on. And then we are going to pat that down with a paper towel. And then you can kind of just see it just like creates like these layers and makes it look like super grungy. This one, you guys, I painted in faded burlap and used some salt wash as well. And then I am clearing it with DIY's clear wax and dark wax. The reason we put on that dark wax, or sorry, that clear wax, is so that we can easily wipe back the dark. If I were to just put the dark onto the paint, then it would just kind of cling to the paint and you wouldn't be able to wipe it back as much as you can with the clear. So once all the paint is done, I'm going to take all of these strips of fabric and I'm going to twist it on around and then cinch it in the middle. That's it. That's all you do for a messy fabric bow. They are so pretty. I'm going to tie it off with another piece of fabric, and then we are going to hot glue it to the bottom of our peduncle. I learned peduncle from you guys. Thank you guys so much. You guys educate me all the time. And then, of course, we can't stop there. I got these little buttons and I layered them on top of each other, and that's going to go in the middle of our bow. Y'all, I hope you like this. I know this was kind of like a quicker video than you're used to, but I enjoyed it. Make sure to check out Western Grace Home Decor on Facebook, and look at how good those look. Can you see the texture of the salt wash as well? Loving it. I think next week, you guys, we're gonna do like a moody fall decor, because I have this image in my mind of using the arched wood blanks. Oh yeah, okay. All right, you guys, I appreciate you being here with me, and I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. I'll be back on Tuesday with a thrift haul to show you guys. So easy. If you're somebody that resells or does craft fair, stay tuned. Watch this. So these are just 12-inch rounds. They're the thin ones you could get at Hobby Lobby, Amazon. I even think Dollar Tree sells these now. I'm using chiffon by Rust-Oleum. I am trying to get rid of it. And you guys, this paint was thick. Okay, it's been sitting down there for a long time. I'm gonna roll this on. I think I did like 6 at a time. After they were done, I'm gonna grab this stencil. I created this on my Cricut, and you can too. I just use 7mm Mylar stencil film. And then I think you just need, it's either called a deep blade or a knife blade on your Cricut. And if you guys want a video on how to do that, let me know, and maybe I can make a quick one. And this is a great way of making multiple things at once. This helps because, one, I'm not using stencil vinyl, so I'm not having to weed something out multiple times. And then I'm not using regular vinyl for his face because I can't guarantee the longevity of vinyl. So I rather like hand paint my images on. Look at that. And look, I just move on to the next one. Set that one over. I'm going to lay that stencil right back down on here, and I don't need to wipe the back or anything. I'm using that sponge roller. I'm being really soft. I'm not pushing down on it to get paint underneath it. And this is a great way of making multiples, you guys. If you are a YouTube membership person, geez, I can't talk, then this SVG will be uploaded to the membership group for free. Now to finish this off, I am going to take dark and decrepit liquid patina and a paper towel, and I'm just gonna buff that around the round. I think this added a little bit more depth, almost like a shadowy look to it. You guys tell me what you think. Would you have left it alone? I ended up doing it to all of it, so I can't go back now. But I liked it with the dark and decrepit around the edges of it. And this is how it turned out. I was actually really happy. I think if you go on Pinterest, you've probably seen these everywhere. And I've never made one for as many wood rounds as I have done. I have never made the man of the moon. So I think this is cute. I'm definitely keeping one for myself for my mantle, and I hope you guys enjoy this one. Now, absolutely gorgeous. Now, keeping in and finishing up this video, I have these little mini cutting boards. I'm going to save those for pumpkins. And I love the color of them. We are not painting them. I think they look great and are a great fall color. I'm going to take this pillowcase. You guys, if you've watched my channel, I always take my pillowcases and then cut the backs off because they have no image and use it for DIYs like this. So I am going to hot glue the fabric. And I should have just used a longer piece of fabric and wrapped it all the way around because I end up putting like a slab in the middle. But make sure you are pulling very tight on your fabric when you are hot gluing these to your cutting boards or your wood sign. So you can see I ended up getting a strip because I was like, that looks so unfinished on the back. So that's what I did. Then just like you wrap a present, you're going to tuck in those ends and then bring it on up. Again, very tight, because once you put in like your florals and you're messing around with that fabric, it's going to give a little and you don't want it to start sagging in the front. To cover up, oh, no, first I'm going to get the pumpkin stamp. This is from an old IOD collection, and I'm going to stamp that right here on the corner just to add a little zhuzh. I'm going to grab some Dollar Tree ribbon, and we're going to put that around the top so it looks more finished. I didn't want to like roll down the fabric to make it look like folded down, you know. So I decided to go with this ribbon. I'm going to hot glue the strip to the back, and then I do hot glue it to the front of the fabric as well. I just don't show it. And then we are going to grab some neutral florals from Dollar Tree. So I grabbed some of these leaves here. I was just at Dollar Tree and did not grab more of these, and I think this was like my last pick. I'm going to put those in there, and then I'm going to also grab these Dollar Tree florals. These are like the perfect color. They're kind of like brownish, tannish, cream, orange. They fit. And for our second one, tell me what this is called, you guys. I know it goes on the arm of a chair, but I don't think it's considered a doily by any means. So let me know in the comment what this is actually called. So this is a great way, I think, of using doilies or linens that are stained and cannot be used again or resold. So I am hot gluing this to the back. And then I'm going to cut that excess off, and just like we did with the other ones, we're going to tuck the bottoms on in. I really liked this one because it was a thicker fill, so I knew my flowers would not go through it. And it was a great way, like I said, of utilizing some pieces that I couldn't resell because they were so stained up. So I'm just going to add some more florals in this. And this is how it turned out. So you can do these with mini cutting boards, bigger cutting boards, even just pieces of wood. And I love how they turned out. I thought it was a great way of repurposing some items. And I hope you guys enjoyed this neutral fall video.